course, will be returning back today. That's also people who are Lubaras will have to be part to also really understand what their culture and tradition entails, because most of the times today we are living in a world of cultural where our cultures are being mixed and diluted with different other cultures. But we are saying, all in all, it is good to be part of programs that remind you of your origin, that reminds you of your traditions, that remind you of very many other issues that are entailed in your tradition in there. And that is where it becomes part and also good for you to be part of also really the program, so to understand what exactly could be happening in there. And that is where I want to also welcome you and say you are most welcome. And yesterday we were able to also have the World Peace Day, an activity that we did see taking place at Office of the Prime Minister grounds with focus on empowerment of women and the ladies. If you look at the peace today, you will realize that most of the victims who are also being affected also by that are actually the women. And we were able to see this activity being organized successfully through support. That is from SIHA Network Uganda. With several other entities, we were able to see VNG International, we were able to see organizations like K International, Seford, and many others, Family Nature, and several other organizations, both international and locally, coming up to also support Arua City Council in making this organization a success. And that is one thing we did see happening yesterday. And the World Peace Day is actually an annual event that is across the globe every day of also the 3rd of October. And that is one thing we did see happening yesterday, where Arua City joined the rest of the world to celebrate also this activity under the theme of enhanced also the opportunities as promote peace. And that these are issues also that we must also front each and every day, because today, if you look at issues of peace, you will realize that also these are things that also we need to also promote in our vicinities, in our areas, because issues pertaining peace always continue to also exist in our society in there. And that is why we find very much important for us to also honor peace. Today, if we talk about peace, you will realize that Uganda is actually said to be a peaceful world. It's actually a peaceful nation in there. But you look at also the other parts of the world, they're not peaceful. And I was able to also see videos of a dangerous accident on one of the lakes, that's on Lake Kivu in DRC. It's really quite absurd. And I was able to see scary scenarios where people died, and it's really quite shocking. It means that much as we are talking about peace in absence of war, there's still a peace of poverty and peace of mindset change, which is already very much paramount for people to also really understand that indeed peace goes beyond, that is the wars, and also really, and maybe theft. It is really a lot more that we need to do when it comes to promotion of peace. And that is one area which at the end of the day, I feel we must be in the know of, because when you talk about peace, many of the times people don't know what peace is all about. They think peace is only war, maybe absence of war, sorry. But we are saying peace is actually beyond that. And we were able to sort of see that happening, and that activity went on successfully, where we were able to see market women vendors attracted. The city leaders also were part of that. And I was able to also see one of those groups who have been in most cases targeted as criminals. These are the ghetto community, and we were able to sort of see them being part of the celebrations. And one of the issues that which this group raised is that they are being termed as criminals simply because of non-involvement. They are being excluded when it comes to policy and decision makings. And that is why at the end of the days, people tend to take them as criminals. But if at all they were involved, if at all they were brought closer, we never know, they would have reformed. And that is exactly what we did see. And there is no room from that experience to blame anybody. It means that anybody can actually reform. The ghetto president of Arua City, that is Zarome, also known as Taban Swale, whose real name is actually Taban Zarome. As many know him as Manzikala, he was able to really share his story of how he used to be a criminal. But today he's a reformed person. It means that many of those criminals out there can actually reform through government involvement. If government brought them closer to also listen to their ideas, to listen to their issues, to listen to their pains, to listen to their stories, it would have made it possible for maybe for these groups to reform. But today we are seeing over 50 groups who are reformed, who are doing a lot of issues, and this group is actually moving forward to look for funds to establish a skilling center. That is also where they're looking for money to buy sewing machines, to buy for materials. That is also that will enable them at the end of the day skill these young people who are mostly known as the criminals. And that is where I find it very much important for government also maybe to come on board to support this group, and that would make many reform. And today we are also really seeing these groups, many who are termed as thieves, prostitutes are all in there. But all in all, we are saying these people could actually reform if government involved them in some of these government programs. For instance, the poverty eradication program, the parish development model, the MIOGA, and the skilling initiatives, which of course I must appreciate government on, that today most of the groups also really are not excluding the ghetto community. Once these lots are being admitted, it means that the ghetto community is not also being left out, because if you look at ghetto today, you look at areas where there's high criminality, most of this is being conducted in the ghetto community. For instance, look at what is happening in the hotspots of criminality today. Most of these have been termed as maybe criminal hotspots. For instance, let's talk about San Siro. This is an area today, initially, when you talk about it, people will definitely term it with maybe criminality. But how can we make sure there's mindset? Leaving that aside, move to areas like Aro Primary. You will realize that also that has been termed as an hotspot for criminality along the Baruku stretch. That is another ghetto. It is also a ghetto entirely area. You move to Smash, Krabu, and many other areas. Today, all these have been termed as areas of criminality. Today, I want to also applaud the RCC, the new RCC of Arua City. That is Salimu Kumakets, who is also doing a tremendous job of moving out to this ghetto community to talk to them. They started with a campaign in one of the areas, that is Kenya Ward, where there has not been peace, where women have been asked for this and that to get PDM, and this has also generated mixed reactions. But today, the city leadership of security, led by Salimu Kumakets, has been moving to Kenya Ward, to the different cells, to also talk to the women, to talk to the mothers, talk to the youths, and that is actually one area which I feel at the end of the day would also really transform many lives. And that is where we may not also see an end only to this group, but we may see many reforming, because if at all we reform these groups through the skilling centers, it will be a plus for also all these groups to also really understand why they must also really change themselves. And that is one area which I feel at the end of the day will be a plus for this person to understand that there is indeed need for these groups to change, and that will be able to also really understand and also really move on. Because if you look at all these areas, then you will also the mindset change is actually very much key, and that is one area where many people today could have also just simply been criminality, because they do not understand what exactly to do. And that is why they resort to criminality, because usually there's a saying in the ghetto community that everybody is a champion in his or her way. That is why sometimes others resort to becoming champions of theft. So I think it is why government must come with also initiatives and programs also to help elevate and also empower this ghetto community. But today we have several organizations who are doing a tremendous job as well in terms of skilling these groups when it comes to mindset change. I've ably seen Seford International with partnership also of that is Seford International with CARE. We have also been able to see them also in their work. CARE International and Seford have been able to also extend their hand, that is to several other groups, that's to skill them, which is also a plus, and which we must also encourage other organizations to do. Because if many empower them out, then we will be able to also see many young people also transforming and living the kind of lifestyle that they are living. And that, with that, we will be able to also see many other young people out there also still changing, and that would also help improve on their livelihoods and also improve on how they're supposed to do their things. And that would also be a plus for people to also understand that indeed ghetto community are people who can reform, and that would also help reform very many in there, and that would also at the end of the day help young people also change in there. And leave that story aside, we are able to also see the judiciary convening a meeting and also with also the media personnel of this region, and this was at the court, where we were able to also see many young journalists also expressing their ideas, where they also able to stress out the challenges that they go through when they are trying to cover stories of the judiciary. And that is one thing we did see happening in yesterday. And we were able to see Samuel Mugisha from the Judicial Service Commission, who was also really, yesterday in an engagement with the media personnel of Arua City at Arua Magistrate Court, and he also really equally highlighted the issue of the national ID or no wedding. What do you think about this issue, which was already floated yesterday and today when you talk about issues of weddings? this is actually a new development as we are witnessing registration of marriages from, that is the URSB, now moving to NIRA. It's a new development that is slowly coming up, where it has actually also been brought out to the limelight that if you don't have a national ID, you will not be registered as a married couple. But then the question is, what about those who prefer international marriages? Because today we have colleagues who, for them, say they do not want Ugandan women. For them, they prefer maybe Sudanese, they prefer Congolese. That is where they go into. What about this group who do not have the national ID of Uganda now? Are we going to be sending them back? These are questions only which we feel must be answered, because today we have a number of people who are engaged in what we call cross-border or intermarriages, who are also there. Because if you look at cross-border marriages, you will know that many people are actually married in that way. Today we have the Congolese community who are in Arua. Most of them say they are here because of marriage. And how are we going to be asking for this for the national IDs? So in my own opinion, it's entirely my own initiative, it's my own idea, it's my own thought. I think this may not be able to work. Because if you look at marriage registration, today we have the religious institutions who are able also registering their marriages in the mosques, in the churches. What about these groups? And I feel this is going to be costing the civil marriages, because if you look at civil marriages, where maybe the person may not be interested in having weddings that are known, they resort to civil marriages. All they need to do is have them also already filed and registered, and that is where they are also going to be affected. I think this is mostly going to be affecting the civil marriages, and like also the traditional, or what we call church marriages, because there are very many forms of marriages that were today also termed to be legal. And if you look at the legal marriages today, they are in very many ways. And today, many people, more so who of different religions, who want to get married, have resorted to what we call the civil marriages. And I think this is this time around going to be affecting them. And we are keenly following up on that discussion, and we hope it wouldn't also really take them by surprise to also really see that this catches up with them, and that would also really make them be left out in there. And that is where also we did see journalists raising concern of how they used to fear accessing the courts of law, thinking they would be charged under the contempt of court. And that is where the judicial officers came out and explained where also really the journalists have not been able to also really find stories also from the courts. Because if you look at news stories over the different media platforms, you realize that also stories from courts are usually very much few. And where has that been a challenge? It has been in relation to the bureaucracies of accessing stories from the judiciary. And I think this time around, with this engagement, we are going to be seeing now more stories coming out from the courts, where judges also really still will be giving information easily, unlike the intimidations where a judge will ask you, who are you? What do you want? How can I help you? This and that. The fear, I think this time around, is going to be going off, where now stories in terms of also really, maybe equity can be able to slowly come out from the judiciary in there. And I feel that is one area where we shall be able to sort of talk about, and that would also make it a success for us to also really understand, and we shall be in position to also really know what is happening in there. And that is where we're going to be leaving the discussion aside and look at some of the stories. Remember, as we are running out of time, we still have lots more to discuss. And in the second hour, we are going to be joined by teachers. And the world without teachers is no world, because all the professions entirely are being produced by the teachers. And that is the reason as to why we must also really honor and celebrate the teachers. And on this day, which is tomorrow, I will be celebrating one teacher who taught me in primary one. And this is in the names of Madam Salama, who taught me at a Royal Primary School. And I will never forget the songs that this madam taught us. And that is why always when I think about my academic journey, I reflect back on her. I remember how she used to push on me, and how she used to also really teach me and force in there. But today, I really want to honor her on this day, which is tomorrow. And I want to say she is one of the teachers that in my entire life I wouldn't also really forget in there. And who is that teacher that you cannot forget? Because sometimes there are two teachers, the good teachers and the bad teachers. The bad teachers are the ones who beat you for no reasons, who waited for you for bad reasons. And I also have these teachers who waited me for no. Really, these are also really where we need to also celebrate them. And as teachers, as we celebrate this day, there are lessons that you should be able to sort of learn as you also really we celebrate this day in here. And that is where we're going to be leaving the story aside. And now to look at the national stories. Minister Katumba asks road vendors to vacate is another story that we're seeing, where the Minister of Works and Transport that is General Edward Katumba Wamala, has also warned roadside vendors about pedestrian walkways, urging them to vacate what we call the areas to ensure smooth traffic flow. And that is where we did see also him making also the remark during a monitoring exercise that's at Najana Nkumbi in Busabala Roadworks, that's in Wakiso district, another street that leads, that is also to the beach of one of the leaders who is aspiring to become the president of the Republic of Uganda. Now that Dusty Road is being worked upon, we are going to be seeing also maybe where the complaints will be channeled towards also the next development, because that road, I want to assure you, has been one of the roads that was dilapidated, was dusty, but it is actually one of the roads that accesses to, maybe connects to the city center, but this time round, after noise, I believe, from several other persons, this time round, government had to reach out the rescue of that road users, also for the road users who have also been using that road in there, but this time round, we are hoping that the works are moving on smoothly, and that is where we did see General Katumba Wamala also highlighting the other challenge in the ongoing road projects, such as difficulties in securing right way of access due to compensation demands from also the affected communities. But how do you also take up somebody's land without also compensation is another story which we also need to ask ourselves as we get to move on with the show. Because many of the times you realize that people are affected when these road projects are being opened. Recently we did see Arua City Council opening up the road sectors. People's lands were encroached on. But we did see only the city councils also asking for people to open up at least 3 meters. And 3 meters on somebody's land is a big or a huge chunk of land being encroached on. But how can we ensure that this does not go on without compensation? Because I believe if government was much as with these road projects, the people also need their lands. Look at what happened in Ivo Division in areas where we come from. We were able to solely see some of these road projects affecting people's lands, people's perimeter walls as well being affected. And that also happened. But how are we going to be seeing this happening? And we were able to solely see discussion yesterday where this also is to affect one of the party headquarters or one of the political parties in this country. I will be touching on that discussion later on. But if we talk about road openings, you know that there's really a lot more that needs to be done when it comes to ensuring the success of these projects. And that is where we did see Wakiso District Solo Chairperson Matia Loanga Bwanika praising the landlords who offered their land for the project, citing what we call the potential also for transformative community development. If you look at the road sector, by the way, it is not also a bad project, but I want to assure you that it becomes a bad project where people are not being compensated, where people also are affected by that. And that is one area where we are going to be also posing the discussions, as we are just left with about 19 minutes now to wind up with this hour, and we are going to be taking a short commercial break. When we bounce back, we are going to be continuing the discussion later on, which will be ushering us into what we call the program, also where we are going to be joined by teachers who will be telling us about this day, which is tomorrow, in terms of organizations and how prepared they are. And that is where we are going to be leaving the discussions for now, and to also take a short commercial break that will be ushering us into more of the discussions. For now, we take a short commercial break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe! Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Watch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Well, as we are returning back from that short commercial break, it seems the Eddie Kenzo saga is not settling anytime from now. And remember what happened in Arua City recently, what we did see was chaos. That was also really something that we witnessed last month. But now it seems this is not ending. And now the musician is also really writing an intention to sue. And this is something which we are following up on keenly. And we want to see how this will be ending. And now the musician has also really written, that's also a legal notice of also the intention to sue. That is a person, the promoter in the names of Nyeko Stevens of Steve Music and Marketeers Agency. And this is one thing which we have also seen ably here. And we are following up on to see how this will be ending. And now the matter is also out in there. And they also really have written that. But we are following up on this matter because if you look at all this issue, I think it's very much paramount to bring one of the local promoters one of these days, and one of whom also happens to be one of us. And one of these days, I think it will be quite important for us to solely host him and understand the gist of the matter. Because if you look at all this issue, many people don't actually understand what caused the riot, what caused the chaos, and where the whole matter has reached. But this is one area where people are being left demanding for their huge amounts of money. But now we are seeing also really demand notice also really coming out, and also a letter of intention to sue, which is slowly coming up. And that is one area which I feel I must also really give you a hint on. And that is one area which I will be coming still to let you know of more details coming up in line to that. And I will be also really hopefully hosting one of the local promoters to also really come up and understand this demand notice, what it is all about. And that is one area which I feel I should be able to give you as a hint on as we get to move on with the show. Because if you look at how our time is running, you realize that our time is really running super fast. That means we may not be in position to solely talk very much about it for now, but we are going to be returning hopefully next week to also really talk about this matter in there. And that is one area which I feel is very much important for us to also really talk about as we get move on with the show. And that is area which we are going to be very much putting aside on. Earlier on we were talking about the issue of the road, but now leaving the story aside, still looking at many other stories happening elsewhere. We did see also Richard Tudong, the secretary from NRM, also telling people to also stop fighting each other. And this is to the locals of Bukedi. And Bukedi, when we talk about Bukedi today, this is also where the Speaker of Parliament, that's right, Honorable Anita Mong, is coming from, and the Secretary General of the ruling National NRM Party, Richard Todong, also has advised the people in Bukedi sub-region to desist from fighting each other. And Todong was meeting also religious leaders, that's from Busia district on Thursday, say that such also practices undermine the development of the country. And he was responding to NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, that is Dr. Tanga Odoi, who also attributed the poverty in the region to also disunity, which is only an area that needs to be addressed happening in there. But one area also which we feel shouldn't only be left to people of Bukedi sub-region. What about us West Nilers? What about the Acholis? What about the Langos? If we continue to fight each other, what awaits us? And we are just like Bukedi, being also placed, unfortunately, under the poverty bar line. So I think to also change this, there's need also for the same message to be extended to people of the sub-regions in Karamoja, in Lango, in Acholi, and West Nile sub-region, so that we also speak the same language of also the unity, because without unity, trust me, you will have no progress, and all you do will just be remaining where it is. So I think to avoid all that, it is quite important for us, the people of northern Uganda, for people of Buganda, for people of Ankole, for people of other regions, also really to speak the same language, so that we can develop as a country. And Todong went on to also tell the leaders to rally out the people to also on poverty eradication programs, as Busia district is preparing to host the 62nd edition of the independence celebrations. And this year, we do understand Uganda will be celebrating independence celebrations, that is in Busia district, but that will not stop the other parts also, and the other districts also from celebrating theirs in there. And I would be interested in wanting to see how the one of Arua City will be going on, because it is a long period of time that we last hosted this national independence celebrations. I remember it is actually a long period of time that Arua was able to also host the national celebrations, and I think it will be quite good, maybe in the 63rd edition or 64th or perhaps 65th edition, to also really celebrate and host this activity once again. And that is one area where we also really want to ask the people of Bukedi sub-region, where Busia is found, to also really prepare for this day, such that also really they can be able to celebrate this day happily in there, and that would also really help at the end of the day there are people to grow, because this day, by the way, comes with the opportunities. If you look at some of the opportunities that comes up with these days, you realize that the hotels are going to be having market, and that is why Bukedi sub-region must be prepared for this day, because if they're not prepared for this, where will the politicians who will be coming from the other parts of the country camp at? What about those people who will want to celebrate the day with His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is expected to be the chief guest of this day in here? And that's where we did see Samia Bugwe, also in the north, the Archdeacon of Barnabas Minala, pledged total support, that's only in mobilizing their flock to attend the national celebration, and that's where we need the numbers. But it's really some area which we feel must also be able to improve on. You realize that in most cases, when national events are being organized, people tend to also really shut their ears, and they don't want to listen to the calls of asking them to also be part of the celebration that I hope on Saturday. This will not be the same scenario with the World Teachers' Day, because the teachers are the makers of every profession. Without a teacher, there's no engineer. Without a teacher, there's no journalist. Without a teacher, definitely there's no doctor. So all in all, it is very much important for us to also celebrate this day, and I will be interested in this day, and I want to show you, come sunshine, come rain, so long as I'm alive, I'm going to be with the teachers on this day, and I will want to see how teachers will be fronting their ideas, and what are some of those areas which the leaders will be able to sort of take on. And from that, we shall be also still extending the same messages to the policymakers, the decision makers of this country, to also really work on, because really teachers sometimes go through a lot. You imagine somebody who spends the entire lifestyle thinking of making the learners better, because teachers read for lifetime. You know, teachers don't rest. Unlike other professions where you say, I will study for 16 years. For teachers, once you become a teacher, you will read until you die, because you have to update the syllabus, you have to update yourself, you have to also improve on here and there. Now that they're having a new curriculum, it's a new huge task on them. Really, you know, teachers go through a lot, and that is why on this day we must honor them, we must appreciate these teachers. But the question is, who is that teacher you are honoring on this day, which is tomorrow. And I do understand more, they have already organized a lot of activities. And I do understand one of which is also with us, the journalists, and that's the football match. And I really want to see how I will be dodging these teachers. And the teacher will beat me if I find in the field, I'm going to be kicking you. And this is where we must also come tomorrow and be part of this activity. It's really quite important for us to celebrate this day with the teachers. They will be with us, the team will be with us shortly from now, and they will be explaining to us what are some of those activities that they are organizing and they want to also be part of. And we are just counting down 7 minutes to have them on show, and that is where we are going to be still continuing with other stories nationally and to look at some of the stories happening nationally on the papers. You read it on the monitor this morning. We are seeing also the Muslim leaders have been urged to embrace government projects, and which is really quite good. If you look at some of these projects, where if the Muslim community leave themselves out, then it is also really very much bad, because they will not be able to solely improve on their livelihoods. Because if you look at these poverty eradication programs, these livelihood programs, it is quite important for each and everyone to be part of. And now the Muslim leaders also under their umbrella body, that's of the Dabugabo Swadaka Association, abbreviated as DENSA, have urged imams to embrace government projects that's solely for socio-economic transformation. Today, if you talk about socio-economic transformation, government has put a number of poverty eradication programs in place. Let's talk about the policy development model, which is actually the new baby being also grown in there. How can we make this possible for each and every person who is out there who is qualified to also uplift their livelihoods out of these programs? The women in my area today did not want to hear about any meeting of Paris development model. It means that people actually want the funds. People are in demand of this money. People are ready to also uplift their status. What is remaining is what we call financial literacy. Most of the times, when we see these meetings being organized, people are ready. Women are ready, in most cases, who are also the ones who need this money most. You will read that also, even if they say the meeting is deep down there, they will go. For instance, let's talk about it happening in Ivory East. If the meeting is in Asuru, you will read that women of the different wards will be able to slowly move to Asuru. And if it is Madi ward, you read all the women from that area are moving in here. Even if it is an airfield, people are moving. It means that people are ready for these funds. People are willing to also receive these funds, and what is remaining and what government must work on is what we call financial literacy. And this is a bit of how to use this money, because some of them are planning to use money for building houses. Really, you realize that also, yet this money is not meant for that. I was able to solely ask some of the women, what are you planning to do with this money? Others are telling me they want to pay school fees with it. This money is not for paying school fees. This money is for investment. Get it, put it into business, let it grow. Because this is money that is a revolving fund. After borrowing it and after a specific period of time, you will be expected to return back this 1 million with some minimal interest rate. Because if you look at the interest rate, it is actually smaller than what other financial institutions are offering. And this is also where government thinks it is quite important for people's livelihoods to be also empowered through this money in there. And a lot of billions are already being dispersed, and that's where we are asking those who have received the money, you must make sure that you start thinking of how to return this money back, so that we who have not gotten the money can also be able to benefit from it. But I don't think if I maybe qualify for this money, because many times when we move for these meetings, when you see people, the eyes of which people give you is really sometimes the eye that is being used for distributing money, and that is a clear indication that you do not qualify to be part of us. First, find your way and leave us. And that is one message that we usually see happening in the Paris Development Model meetings. And that is where we keep our eyes on to see how this money is being distributed and to see how people are actually preparing for this money. And that is where we are telling government to make sure that once these people get, maybe before these people getting this money, financial literacy when it comes to empowerment is actually very much important. Because if at all we are giving these people the money without them understanding where they're going to be using this money, trust me, people are going to be eating this money just like that. People are going to be using this money thinking that it's good for them to buy maybe woofers. Others, we have seen them buying new mattresses. Others buying goats. That's sorry for those who have the mindset. But all in all, it is not enough. So I think it's very much important for people to also make sure that they use this money very well, to also make sure that they change their livelihoods in there. And that is one area which we feel people should be able to solely improve on their livelihoods. At the end of the day, we would want to see change, because if you talk about change, then you realize that solely it is something that we must also be able to work on hand in hand or shoulder by shoulder. As said by the former RCC of Arua City, that word has actually remained a slogan today, and that is where today we are seeing people working together. And such slogans are actually what we need to solely talk about when implementing some of these parish development model programs. Not only parish development model, what about the Myoga and the GROW project, which is targeting the women entrepreneurs? And I want to say, those women who are in business, please, this money is there for you. All you need to do is find out how you can be able to solely access this money, and the office of the commercial officers within the different districts are open, and also the parish chiefs in the different villages where this money also could be able to solely benefit these women. Please, let's give them the necessary support. Let's guide them on how they can be able to solely have their businesses also qualify for these funds, because this money is not for those who are down there. It is actually for those who are already doing something. For instance, those who are owning small businesses, who are already sort starting up. And that is where we are saying this money is actually there for you to make sure that your business grows from the small size, maybe from the small size it is, to a bigger size. And that would also, at the end of the day, improve on your livelihood. And that is where we are going to be stopping with this hour. And after this hour, we are going to be joined by teachers, and they will be telling us how they are prepared for this day and how this day came into an existence. And remember, this is a World Day, and this is only where we hope Uganda tomorrow will be joining the rest of the world to celebrate this day, because without teachers, I believe there's no another, maybe career. Because without teachers, I don't think if you will become who you want to become. And that is why on this day, we must celebrate the teachers. And I want to say the excitement is real. I'm super excited to also see the teachers also share their stories, because you look at the classroom life. Morning, you're there up to evening, sometimes up to night. You're marking papers. The following morning, you're right there. Early morning, we take a short commercial break. When we bounce back, we shall be joined by teachers. My name is Farish Majid. Stay tuned as we bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe! Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to Star Times Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. Star Times Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are back into the second hour of the show where we have been joined by a guest, and this is from Unatu Arua City, and he will be telling us what they are preparing for. Also, that's tomorrow, because if you look at tomorrow, you know that's when we shall be celebrating the World Teachers Day. But how prepared is Arua City? I want to say it seems all is set. He will be telling us what exactly they will be doing on this day and what are some of those activities that which the people of Arua City should be able to expect from teachers come tomorrow. And when it comes to celebrating this day, which also really is to honor the activity of the teachers. And remember, this is a day that also traces its origin way back. He will be giving us that small history because the horse is always here. Usually the saying is the best information is got from the horse's mouth. I would be expecting him also still to give me that small brief background and to you, the viewer, to also really understand why it is always good to stand in solidarity with the teachers, because teachers sometimes go through a lot. You look at the kind of life maybe that is classroom based. All the time you focus classroom, 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 and that is one thing that you focus on each and every day. Teachers don't have weekends. Teachers don't have nights. Teachers don't have mornings. Teacher is always a teacher, and a teacher is a parent, where you realize that there's really indeed a lot more that also really is focused when it comes to this World Teachers Day. And that's where I do have Mr. Andama. He is the chairperson of UNATU Arua City. Without wasting any time, if you can maybe say a good morning to the viewer out there, and then we get to go on with a discussion that will be quite well. You're most welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my host. Good morning, listeners. It's a very great day for us, especially this morning, and for me to be on the television. And I want to thank the management of West Nile TV for giving this opportunity to host us this morning for this very important event. 5th October every year is the Teachers' Day, and I am very, very happy to be here. And I want to say congratulations to the teachers of Uganda, teachers of Arua City, and the teachers world over. I want to give a brief history of World Teachers Day. This is an annual event, and it started way back in 1966 when the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the International Labour Organization established a special intergovernmental conference, and on it, the status of teachers was discussed, and this was in Paris. This conference adopted a recommendation concerning the status of teachers, which outlined the rights and the responsibilities the teachers do and what they do as far as educating the learners is concerned. So the World Teachers Day was first celebrated in 1994, that was the 5th of October, to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the 1966 conference, and it has become an annual event. That's why every year we celebrate this day.
So how prepared are you for this day when it comes to Arua City?
I want to say we are prepared as Arua City, and we are prepared as a branch, and we are not going to celebrate alone. We are going to celebrate this together with our sister branch, that is Arua Main. We are prepared.
So what do you mean by Arua Main? Because when you talk about Arua Main, we are used to Greater Arua or Arua District. What is Arua Main? First tell us about Arua Main.
Arua Main is actually, you know, all the branches within West Nile, if I may say, right from Yumbe up to Arua, were once part of Arua. You know, Arua has been a very big district, but we have been establishing these branches as a union according to the local governments. So Arua City came out from municipality, then Marta branch went out, then Koboko branch went out, Yumbe branch went out. Then when Arua City and the Arua municipality, Arua municipality became a city, Arua district now remained as a remnant district. So that's why we call it Main, because it is the mother of all these other branches. Yeah.
So what are some of those activities that we should be able to expect come Saturday, which is tomorrow?
Tomorrow, what we shall, first of all...
Because I do understand that there is a game where my colleague journalists have been warming up for. So it seems those teachers who have been beating, this time round, journalists are going to be also showing them that indeed they can play rough game. Are you ready for this? Maybe tomorrow. First tell us about this game. Okay,
thank you so much. I got in touch with the coordinator, that is Mr. Geoffrey Toma. He gave me a call, and they told me we are warming up to
this
play
is
with
the teacher Springs.
Yes.
A good friend of mine.
So we are there, and I must assure you, it is us who teach sports science, and it's not going to be easy also for you to get the ball from our leagues.
Okay, we are following up on, and maybe apart from that?
Yes, apart from that, we shall have parade, we shall have a marching right from beginning from the gate of Barua Public Primary School. We shall march through the city, and we shall assemble for this glomerulous celebration at OPM grounds,
okay,
which is near Red Cross offices. So that's where we're going to be. And a lot of activities will be there, and we'll be crowned by a very beautiful meal, if I may say, dinner.
Okay.
Yes.
That is for everybody.
Yes,
Not
all
biscuits,
those will be.
People who nowadays want to come for celebration. Are we expecting also a bull roasting, maybe an animal to fall down? As the slogan is always is?
No, we are not going to have a bull roasting, but
okay,
we shall have our ordinary meal.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it not biscuit? Because most
no,
times
not biscuit.
don't want to hear biscuit.
No,
biscuit
it's not.
And soda. Yesterday I was able to also see a lot of stories because I was able to move to a number of places. And this has always been the challenge.
No, it's not going to be biscuits. We shall have real meal. We have a hotel that is going to take over that, and this meal will be supervised by the principal of NTC Muni,
okay,
Madam
that's
Daisy. Yes. So she's in charge of that, and she'll be the one preparing meals for the teachers tomorrow.
That is
so
good.
We have the real meal.
And she has the capacity, I believe.
Yes.
I know she has the capacity because if you move to NTC, usually you come back when you are fat. So I think this time around the visitors also really will be coming out as fat people. So maybe first tell us about this day, because why is this day celebrated and why must we honor this day?
You see, this Teachers' Day is celebrated, first of all, to say thank you, teachers, for the work they have done. You remember, we begin with our profession, to whom the learners are our best employers. We are with them, and throughout the years, we are always with them. And we get this day to say, thank you, teachers, for the work that we do. And it is also a day where we seek for an initiative of support from our employer. And in this day, world over, we donate charities, programs that aim to improve access to quality education and underserved communities. We have communities there, we have learners there, we have institutions where people cannot reach. And that is the day, the time where we get support. And then we also joined the commemorative event and participate in local and virtual events, seminars, workshops. We dedicate this celebrating to the teachers and discussing educational issues today and tomorrow. Right now, on televisions, almost all the teachers are there, the teacher leaders are there. We are advocating and telling government that, please, there's a problem. We need to look at the events and try to look at issues that will help and advance the day. And then we also create, it's a time for gifts. When someone has a gift.
Now when you talk about gift, I think tomorrow I'll be hiding from my teachers. But that's not the case. Maybe what kind of gifts are we talking about here?
Yeah, first of all, the first gift that you can give to a teacher is to say thank you. And that's what you should do. And it is the day that if you're a teacher, I mean someone who has been taught by a teacher, you should be able to say, please, can you give something for your teacher? Even me tomorrow, I have my teacher. Mr. Drazu Nelson, he teaches here in this school, one of the schools here at
within the city?
Yes, within the city. He's my teacher who taught English. So I will be, I think, very grateful if he could come tomorrow, and really I give him that honor to say thank you, my teacher, because he was my teacher of English and social studies in primary. So that's the day, the time we are going to say thank you, my teachers, and thank you, teachers. And we also make advocacy and lobbying. You know, the quality of education that we have, we will not only be from one person. It is a collective responsibility. And it is from tomorrow that we shall make our voices to the teachers. Based on the fact that the theme for this year, is listening to the voice of the teacher. If I may make it simple, listen to the voice of the teacher, a social contract for education. And what are these voices that we present? One, the condition of the service of the teachers. Number two, we have the learning environment. Is it conducive? We have the scholastic materials. Are the parents giving? We have the accommodation of the teachers. Is it okay? What does government do? What is the contribution of government as far as the contribution towards the welfare of the teacher is concerned? We have many numerous issues that come our way that hinder the productivity of our welfare, that hinder the productivity of our profession. These are the times that we are going to make this known to governments, not only in Uganda, but all over the world tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
So that brings me to the question, maybe what are some of those challenges that teachers go through in their daily work of schedules and maybe in their day-to-day activities as they teach the nation? And usually I love that saying, is it because we are, the nation is?
Yes.
That kind of saying that teachers usually say, which I also really very much agree to, because without the teachers, I really want to imagine if we could have engineers, if we could have doctors, if we could have lawyers, if we could have journalists. I'm really wondering, without the teachers, because each and all these careers pass through teachers, right? From P1, nursery, P2, up to primary, and maybe university, they are being taught by teachers before they become maybe professionals in their different careers in there. But all in all, usually that is being pushed by teachers. So there's really a lot more that I believe teachers could be encountering in their day-to-day work. And what are those areas that you feel government should be able to sort of work on as you celebrate this day, apart from the issue of salary, because I believe the issue of salary is going to be coming out.
Let me begin with the beautiful motto, because we are, the nation is. There are a lot of challenges teachers go through. First of all, I also want to say thank you, government, for providing opportunities, ample environment on the other side for the teachers to execute their duties. But we have a lot of challenges. First of all, I want to begin with accommodation. To attend quality education, we expected teachers to be within the environment of the school. But you find most of the teachers commute far away from home. Most of the teachers are not accommodated as of now in the schools. For example, within the city here, if I may take my condition, I stay in a rent. That's a big challenge. I'm not near the school where I teach. And that alone affects my performance. Like when we have weather conditions where you are supposed to be in the classroom, you will not be there. That's one challenge. The second challenge we have is the attitude of the community towards teachers today. You will bear witness with me, in the 60s, the teacher was the most respected person. The teacher was the one who had the best meal. You remember when we were in P1, we used to listen to a song, we used to sing songs that every midday, good meal is cooked in teacher's house.
But, which is different totally from what's
which is totally different from what is happening today. And because of that, the community does not respect the teacher at all because of the conditions they are in. The teachers used to be the pillar, a role model. You see, they were respected because the pay they got was the best. I remember the teacher at that time was the one riding the most expensive motorcycle called the scooter.
Motorcycle or bicycle?
Motorcycle.
Okay.
In 60s, we had a motorcycle called scooter. You see, the Vespa, the most expensive. And that motorcycle was only with the teacher. And the teachers, these cars called Volkswagen, German made. Teachers used to have that.
The teachers or the teachers?
Teachers were getting, teachers had it, but the teachers were also getting.
Okay.
You see this? And when the bicycles came out, the teacher went for the most expensive, the rally bicycles. Those were for the teachers. So you can really see that the trend has changed. See, the trend has changed and we have been devalued as of now. And then vis-a-vis also, ask ourselves, what are we doing? Even we have low morality now as teachers. And then because of that, we have lost what? Respect. These are some of the challenges as we talk now. Look at what is happening right now. You go to the communities. We don't carry respect at all. So these are challenges that we have. And go to on occasions when they request a teacher, we become feeble because of the conditions that we face in the community. And our learners at the end of the day also don't give us respect. I thank those who give respect to their teachers, but there are those who don't complete it, you see. And these are some of the challenges that we have. There are so many. If I'm to enumerate them, there are so many. So, this is the time when we make reflection on these issues that we face as teachers of this country, as teachers of the world, and the teachers of the modern times, that we want our governments to listen to. The most touching issue now, much as you say it should not come out, but
okay. That's the biggest one.
Yes, the biggest that really affects and devalues the teacher is the poor remuneration. This is a cross-cutting issue. It affects all the teachers. To make it now worse, when you look at our status quo now in Uganda, you will get that the teachers are divided.
The arts and sciences.
The arts and sciences. And that is the biggest mistake government has ever done. We should know that as professionals, we all go to the same classroom. We do all subjects together. Professional subjects, we do them together. We only now go to specialties. For the primary, it is a totality. We study everything in primary education. Now, here comes now a division that the sciences and arts. And yet, science, by connotation, begins right from infancy. When you look at, I'm a scholar of pre-primary education. That's where I've gone, because I've found there is a mistake. I've gone to the foundation. When you look at the child, and you see the child playing, making exploration, discovering, playing with the sand, with objects, the child is making scientific research. For us, we don't know this. Sometimes we come and say, no, this child, you are overplaying with the sand, you are lying on. No, the child is learning. The child is discovering. The science begins right from nursery. Now, you have gone ahead and say, okay, the sciences are only those maybe from secondary and so on up to tertiary institutions, and that's where you are now. Forgetting this. And the two subjects, the sciences and arts, are sisters. You see this? They are sisters. Actually, I always define science as an applied art, because without art, you never get any scientific evidence. So, government did that big mistake, which they don't want to swallow, because they always defend themselves. I want to be on record here that was a big mistake, which has created a lot of division and a caldera in teaching profession. To make it worse, we have been moving. We made a tour within the city. We got that information. And we wrote a report. We have already given it to our union to make it, present it to government. So that is one of the challenges. And I must assure and our viewers and our listeners that this is a big problem affecting teaching profession as of now. I am sure tomorrow, this will be one of the messages that we want to present to government. That please, yes, we are not against making our brothers and sisters in the scientific world to get that remuneration, but also consider the arts too, because these are the people who go to the same class with the arts, and they go to teach the same learners. And I must assure the world, I must assure Ugandans, I must assure the teaching profession, I must assure those who listen to us that and there's no country that will do without arts. Okay. Even in Japan, which is the most industrialized, has got arts. See this?
Okay.
The design is artistic, but the application of science to make it scientific makes it now science itself. So we must know this very clearly, and we should not be creating that division. And that is the advocacy we're trying to make to government, to make sure that we get that glory.
Okay. So that is where I need to also really understand how the arts teachers are coping with the reality that their colleagues in sciences had their salaries enhanced, but for them, they were kind of put on hold. I don't want to say maybe pushed aside, but I want to say on hold, because we never know government also has plans for them to maybe enhance their salaries in the next coming financial years. But how was that impacted on the arts teachers? How are they coping with this reality?
Yeah, this time at least the situation is improving, if I may describe. When the idea first came, I want to tell you it was despicable. It was horrific. I made a sample visit to some schools when that idea first came. When the salary was implemented, I went. It was not easy. Some staff rooms were divided. We had the upper and the lower staff rooms in the school. So you could really see, and some of them, even it was not easy. So, but now, the situation is changing. Actually, they have come to live with the reality. Much as government is making the promises. And we have been making advocacy as a union that please, let us wait. Let us give the employer benefit of doubt to see how far they will go with the idea of implementing the science, for the arts. It is not only going to be for brothers and sisters in the teaching tenure in secondary who are in arts, but it is going to be for those who remain, including the primary subset.
And that is where we are going to be also really pausing with the discussions. We're just left with 1 minute. That is to have our commercial break, and that is where we feel we need to also talk about this day, because without the teachers, I don't know what kind of world we'll be living in, because teachers are expected to be everything in society. Today you find an issue that is for law, people are rushing the teachers. You find an issue that is in sports, people already running the teachers. It means that this is a noble profession, and it's actually where the teachers are actually termed to be amongst the middle class. It's the reason as to why they're placed in there, but many times where we also see the teachers being despised, where we see the teachers being neglected, it's quite absurd. It's the absurdity also we need to talk about on this day, that tomorrow, where I want to ask you as the locals, as the viewers, and as the people out there to also be part of the celebrations and to be with the teachers. And I only want to see my teachers at Arua Primary School, those who taught me from P1, P2, P3. I also want to see them, and that is where it will be very much happy for me to also interact with them. Because today, as they say, because the world is, tomorrow I will say because I am, or because we are, because of teachers. And that's where we shall be celebrating this day with them. And with that, we are going to be taking a short commercial break that will be ushering us to more of this discussion. And we want to see how the sports games will be going on, and where the national celebrations will be going on, and where the teachers of Arua City will be celebrating their day come tomorrow. But for now, we are taking a short commercial break. My name is Farish Majid, and I'm still with officials from UNATU Arua City. We take a short commercial break. We bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe! Your Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion. Mbappe! Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back. We are counting down the minutes, but we are still with the teachers. And I want to say the excitement on my face is real because teachers are the makers of the world. And that is why today, me being with the teachers, it's really quite exciting. And I've been joined by another guest and a teacher, and that is where we would also really wish to know who he is. But from the look of things, he must be an art teacher because of the smartness and the swag. Because art teachers are always the ones known to be the swaggerifics and the ones who are always smart. But what about the art teachers? You'll be able to know the difference between an art teacher and a science teacher simply because of dress code. You got me wrong? Maybe if I'm wrong. But first thing first, who are you and maybe what position do you hold? And that is where we need to also understand who you are.
My name is Tandega Eric. The first and most important thing is I am a teacher. And I teach in a rural secondary school. I teach English language and literature.
Okay.
Yes. And in UNATO, I am the branch secretary for UNATO Arua City.
Okay.
Yes. And then also I'm the national delegate Yes, so it means I'm a member of parliament.
Okay.
I need to keep that standard
Okay.
of being a member of parliament.
Being a top delegate, I
Yes.
think I'm not wrong to say indeed he is an art teacher, and that confirmation is clear. You can see how he's smartly dressed, and this means that the preparations for tomorrow are actually real.
Yeah.
Earlier on, we were discussing about challenges raised by teachers and challenges teachers are faced with each and every day in their day-to-day activity. And really want to see at top level, what are some of those strategies that you are trying to work out to make sure that the teachers are at the same level? Because earlier on, before you joining us, we are talking about issues and challenges that teachers go through in their day-to-day activity. Now I feel we also need to ask your side now, from also really top position, what are you working on to see that the teachers are at the same level? Be it a teacher from West Nile, be it a teacher from Uganda, be it a teacher from Eastern, they must be at the same level. What are some of those strategies that you're working towards?
Okay, nationally, we have got what we call the national teacher policy, which we are pursuing, where there's a policy regarding you as a teacher or as a profession. That is the first thing that you need to do. We are also very aware that there are certain things that should be done to ensure that the teaching profession is fine. With the teacher policy, you look at things in a broad way. First of all, you look at the curriculum. What is the curriculum? I'm sure right now when we are to talk about the issue of the curriculum, many people may not understand it well. Parents are involved in the curriculum, the school system, both from the administration, the teachers and so forth, are involved in the curriculum, and also the higher institutions of learning, just like the universities who do that last niching to ensure that when this teacher moves out, and this teacher is going to perform well, then this brings us also the teaching of the teacher, the teacher bit of it. How is it being done? Then there are also other things pertaining. Even if this teacher is brought, what is the welfare of this teacher? Recently, you are aware that the higher institution, specifically Makerere, was against the immediate implementation of this teacher policy, given the fact that the issue of salary enhancement or better welfare has not been included. So these are some of the things that are there in the teacher policy. Okay. Much as we know that there's some bit of disparity, when we talk of the teachers, we look at it in a comprehensive way. Even if the arts, even if the sciences, they also those ones in the technical, they may have the various unions, but at the end of the day, what happens is we ensure that the whole profession of the teacher is done and it is well. Okay. So as UNATU, these are some of the things that we're moving to, but not withholding the issue of the salary enhancement specifically for us teachers is a priority. We need to see, for us to move a long distance, we need to be at par. So the government has given promises, and we continue to wait for the fulfillment of these promises. We will not continue to sit down, but we will pursue. Okay. And then lastly, think about these matches. There are a lot of things there. The issue of mindset. When you know that I do not have money, for example, I'm able to get around 800, another person is getting 4 million. What do I do? Do I have to hold my hands and say, because I'm getting only small money, life is not good for me? We'll hit together. We're hitting the same markets, we're hitting each and everything together with the sciences. So we need to have that positive mental attitude, because we know at the end of the day that the children that we are looking forward to bring to a better standard. Today, if we're the teachers, if we don't fight, what will be the future of those teachers who will be coming later, and generally our nation at large? Thank you.
Still, let's talk about the issue of this teacher policy. I do understand one of the requirements under this is for all the teachers to be degree holders. But let's look at our schools. Let's look at our teachers. How many of these teachers have degrees? And with the bigger salaries they do also receive at the moment, will a number of them go to schools? And is it possible for us to be talking about this policy now, given that teachers also have other responsibilities to take care of? For instance, this is also where we have now been seeing them urged, that is to go back to school and improve on the academics. For teachers who have the diplomas, it is high time that they go back and have the degrees. And then those who are having certificates, it's still very much paramount for them to also have what we call diplomas and upgrade up degree level, because under this policy, teachers are required to be degree holders. How ready are you as teachers for this teacher policy?
Oh, I'm a nationalistic person, and when I'm coming up with this comment, I wouldn't want to be sort of judged to be someone who is segregative and so forth. These are says that brings up our knowledge very fast. Very many people have made this statement, I don't know the author of it, that we cannot wait for Karamoja to develop. We know that the schools have been there for quite some period of time. Getting to school and studying is actually, it comes to the last thing I did say, mindset. If you say, I want to do something, it is possible. Secondly, in regard to whether it is possible for all the teachers to get degree, I say Uganda is enough for every other person. We already have the government. If the government puts its policies right, it sweeps its houses correctly, then obviously this is not going to be a big problem. If we were able to have UPE, USC, where we have got thousands of people yet getting into these bits of education, why can't it be possible that these teachers get the much needed education? It also brings us to the expenses of this education. Can there be cost sharing by the government? These are some of the things that we are looking forward to. And then making things easy, we also have weekend programs, we also have holiday programs. These makes it easier for the teacher to go for education, to go to school, because they also be at the same time doing, and it all calls for doing something extra.
Okay.
So I think the spirit of the move is a very positive spirit, but if you have to look at the negativities, it's going to be we want to see the standards of the teacher education system improve.
So
when it improves,
my
then
concern
yes,
is always in the salaries. Most teachers have actually been complaining about the salaries that cannot allow them upgrade. Let's talk about West Nile. Let's zero it down to
encouragement.
Is it possible for us to achieve this?
Encouragement to every other person who is a teacher here in West Nile. It's not a matter of being proud. I came out from the NTC, that is grade 5, and with grade 5 salary, I was able to join UCU, Uganda Christian University. I got my second class, upper second class, and I got my degree, and immediately after that, I went for my master's. It was possible. I'm someone from West Nile, and many more people have also done this. I know the teachers can be in position when you put your priorities right. But then this does not also stop us from also knowing the problems we have. Even as teachers here, West Nile generally is the disadvantaged area. There are certain things that little by little we try to push. For example, as a delegate in UNATO, I've also been saying, when you have what you call hard to reach allowances, give it to people of West Nile. The people of Karamoja have this, and the people in other areas, they also do have this. In the spirit of oneness, the government can also look at ways in which we can have the teachers of West Nile get to yet another level. These are possible. If our members of parliament of West Nile come together and say, this is what we want to do, subsidize in this area. Recently we saw with the issue of Karuma, we hit hard, even as teachers. My statement was the science teachers can have an access to go to Kampala. But what about me as an arts teacher? It was a problem. So I supported the members of parliament. I would say kudos to all those members of parliament who did that for West Nile. Let them also do it for us as the teachers of West Nile. It will be possible if you have positive mindset. Thank you.
That's where I now want to get you again. What would be your recommendation before the implementation of this policy?
Okay, thank you so much.
Because there are, I believe, mixed reactions that are being generated when it comes to this policy here, where a teacher is required to be at least a degree holder.
Thank you so much. We welcome, as my comrade has said, the idea of teachers having degree. But we always ask or question the process. Yes, the national teacher policy is in place, and it has not reached its final stages. Recently, we had the external lawyers of the union together with the internal lawyers at NIC in Uganda, National Teachers House headquarters in Kampala. And personally, I was also there because we are reviewing our constitution as a teachers union. That was presented to us, and we looked also at the national teacher policy and the teachers bill. In that bill, there are positive things that are for the teacher, and there are also negative things for the teacher. And the most important thing that we asked there was, what about the salary? Why is it not said in the teacher's bill? Because we needed also to know that, yes, we are going to get degrees. This is the amount that we are going to get. It has not been put in that bill. And that is why we were asking this. The issue the teachers have been raising is, and that also I want to present here in this show. Yes, you want degrees. That is good. We also want to go there. But why are you not paying the degrees in the field? I can assure you, we have teachers who have upgraded up to PhD. You see, up to PhD, but they are there.
What makes that possible?
They have been, yes, as my colleague said, it is all about where your priorities lie. Right now, I'm pursuing my master's. But I've not got money elsewhere, but it's my own initiative and a struggle. And I must tell the teachers, it is a time for us to make a struggle. Let us come out to that situation. So we are saying, yes, we need those degrees. Why don't we first now clear the backlog of degrees in the field? You see, that will be a very motivating factor. I am telling you, if government wakes up this morning and say, teachers who have degrees, masters, we're paying you 4 million. I'm telling you, classrooms will not be enough in the university. People will be running. The rest of the people will go. So we are now trying to ask this. We don't dispute this. We don't dispute the teachers' bill. We don't dispute all those. But with the correction of those nitty-gritties in that bill, I think it is a positive move for us to clean the teaching profession and make it more comfortable for everybody who wishes to be a teacher.
Okay.
Yes.
So that brings me back to the discussions of the day tomorrow. We are counting down less than 15 minutes, as we just left about 12 minutes. Now in this hour, in these remaining minutes, we are going to be looking at maybe what message that you'll be passing on to the teachers tomorrow, the other stakeholders. What should they expect, and what should we also really expect from you tomorrow as we celebrate this day? Because as for the teachers, we shall be also really there to hear what the teachers would want to be done, and maybe what they would wish also the government to also reach out their rescue, maybe in what ways. That will also be quite important. I'll start with you, maybe to tell us what message that you'll be fronting tomorrow, first of all to fellow teachers and to the other stakeholders, because when you talk about stakeholders, there's government, there's us, parents, the learners themselves, because if you look at all this, we are all stakeholders in there. But all in all, I will start with you, the fellow teachers. What would be that message that you will be extending to them?
Right. The first thing that we will be expecting from us is the aspect of professionalism. Now, when you are looking at professionalism, this goes beyond the situations on the ground. You look at the situational analysis, it does not bring at balance everything regarding the professionalism of a person. There are the issues of the discontent. There's what we call the plight of the teachers. And now because of this, there are people who are light or faint-hearted, who are about to give. I also want to give you another report, the level at which, first of all, even very disappointingly, the science teachers are retiring is very fast, because they're already doing some bit of mathematics. If I get 4 million and I retire right now, the science teachers are hot cake, they're running to the government, I get my pension and other things, and then I also go to another level. Now the government is going to lose a lot. And again, also the arts teachers also have a very big problem. Many of them now do not believe in the profession of the teaching. So now tomorrow we are doing everything possible to give them hope. Hope comes from the speeches. We have speeches from the very many people which are geared towards tailoring a proper professional etiquette towards the plights, the problems of a teacher. I think in summary, this is what we are gearing towards.
Okay, so
come
about
tomorrow.
The differences of salaries, I really believe it's a big issue that needs to be addressed, because it seems this is going to be having implication in terms of having teachers who are arts. What do you anticipate if government has addressed this in the coming years? Are we going to be seeing the numbers of teachers dropping, more so when it comes to arts? Are we going to be having arts teachers?
I did say on a sorry note, we expected it to be better on the sciences. Now we also see now a very total muchanganyiko. Things are worse. I did talk about the sciences.
So let's
now,
the future
now also okay, now this is bringing it. Now when we also now look at the arts teachers, what is the condition? It is going to be extremely worse. First of all, I am able as an arts teacher, I have known of real dear friends who have left the profession. I don't care about this money that you are going to bring about, Corona did us well. You know, also with Corona, very many teachers have found that there is a possibility for doing better things.
Okay.
One teacher who has a private school told the parents of the school that there is not going to be, this school is not going to open again. Because during Corona, got chicken and put it everywhere, had market, international market in Kenya. Individually, we are able to get money and even do far much better. But teaching profession entails the child. Behind what you are doing, there's something that is bigger. So the situation is going to worsen. Many are retiring and many are dying. Now, when many die, who is this student who is going to say, I want to be an arts teacher? There's going to be a gap automatically. The government is going to be on its knees, rushing to these arts teachers and saving the situation, salvaging the situation when they have already spoiled it. To bring it to zero would be a problem. Right now we are at negative.
So should I say there's danger ahead if government
When I say we are at negative, that is worse than danger. You can get a word that is worse than a danger if these things do not happen.
Okay.
For us, we are sustaining, we are moving on, but behind us, who is this student who is going to say, I want to get 800,000 shillings per month, and another one says, I'm getting 4 million, unless it is moon high madness for you to go to the teaching profession and become an assistant. Yet arts is very important. It is going to affect the industry. It is going to affect the market. Management is here, is going to be affected when I think I reserve this. This is from my own thinking. Why the arts teachers were elevated was during Corona. The president kept on hearing from the doctors, but he forgot he himself was someone who is arts-based. He did a lot of management. The other DCs did management. The police soldiers were doing management. But he only looked at one person who gave the advice, who is the science teacher, and pip, the money was up. Even if we are going to work on this atomic bomb, atomic energy, or nuclear energy, which the government is looking forward to, without management, then there's going to be a problem. Okay. Even the army, UPDF, if there's no management, it is going to be a problem. So let them now go and get the management from the science brain. They will make the bullets well, but don't manage it. What will happen? War. So there's going to be war.
Okay. That is where I also want to engage you. Right from the nursery up to secondary, if at all this is not addressed, what are we anticipating? Your thoughts and opinions about this matter?
I want to bring the genealogy this way. We have, every day, 2 teachers are leaving. Every week, there are teachers who go away without even telling. 5 of them. We lose 5 teachers to atrocities, death. 5. Every day. On our platform, if I open here, every day. Now, the attitude of the teaching profession vis-a-vis the salary, see, the condition of service, it is one thing. Colleges closed. 5 years now down the road. No new young teachers. We did a survey. We wanted to get, do we have teachers from 25? From 25 to 30. We got none. You see? All the teachers in Uganda are from 35 above. That's already a big threat. The institutions are closed. The industry, just imagine, you close an industry. There is no production. Will you get goods? No. And that's where we are. That's actually the negative part of this teacher's bill. The government rushing ahead to close the institutions, the PTCs and the NTCs. You see? And no admission has been done. You see? No fresh. That's where the members of parliament even have, actually, they are now trying to rethink the implementation of this policy, looking at the negative aspect of it. Now, with this in mind, with this background in mind, we already have a problem. I did a survey. I tried to ask the children with whom I am, and then I asked them, among you who wants to be a teacher? None. And I said, Daddy, we cannot. Even the one said, you see, for me, I always see you suffer here. Struggling with life.
It's a bad place.
How do I become a teacher? Let me tell you, it is not going to be easy. you have got you have scored well. You can go for low. Eh? And will you really accept to go for teaching profession, for education in the university where there is poor pay? It will not happen. There is no motivating factor. That's why we are advocating that if government really wants that to bring the image of teaching profession and make education viable, to improve quality, and to see that we have this profession, we love it, we have the image, let the pay be okay. You will see. People will go and they will really embrace it. Even here, if I say now, will you make your son to go to become a teacher? You will not. Because you have seen the pay. So that is the advocacy we are trying to make. There is already a time bomb, just my colleague has said, if it is not addressed. Time will come, we are going to begin hiring teachers. If I'm lying, let the status quo remain, let them continue with this. Okay. So this is what we are going to make. From tomorrow, as we said, we are going to make this advocacy to tell the reality to government. Because we are the implementers. First of all, there are two programs of government that we implement. The UPE and USE. These are beautiful programs of government. And we support government here. We are the implementers. Actually, for me, I always say, we are the soldiers of ignorance. It is us fighting ignorance. You see? Without us, you will never get those other professions. You never get police, you never get the army, doctors, nurses, lawyers, even journalists, you people. You don't get them. You are here because you were one time in the class, isn't it?
Sure.
Yes. We form, we transform. We transform society. Even the backbone of an economy is behind. The teacher is behind. Okay. You never talk about production without the teacher.
Okay, surely our time is running up, and how I wish we would continue with this discussion. It's getting interesting, but time cannot allow us. And maybe in 30 seconds each, I will get your parting thoughts. I'll start with you. Thank you.
The teacher is very important. We are having the World Teachers Day. All of you are most welcome to celebrate the teacher. Without celebrating the teacher, we have moral decadence. We have actually raw input in the industry. We do not want to see journalists who can barely not be able to articulate. We do it. We do the mingling in the class, and then the product is looked outside. What Uganda is, whatever happens in the nation, depends on the teacher. Come tomorrow, we welcome you to come and celebrate with us the World Teachers Day. Be blessed.
Expectations? What should we expect? Colorful?
Oh yeah, yes. Okay. Yes. That's what I expect. I expect you to be colorful and also expect you to be there.
Thank you. Your parting thoughts as well.
Thank you so much. I want to say, celebrate the teacher, and I want to urge the viewers and the listeners, if you really love your teacher, tomorrow is the day. Give that teacher a gift. It may not only be material, but call a teacher. The teacher you feel was very key in your life. Call that teacher and say, teacher, thank you so much. That would be the best gift. I want to call the teachers, both Arua main and Arua city, for this glamorous occasion tomorrow, and the entire teaching fraternity to come and celebrate with us. And I want to say that because we are, the nation is.
And the nation is?
Because we are.
Right, that's the slogan. And with that, we are stopping the discussions here. And I want to thank you, the viewer who watched us right from the beginning of the program up to the end. And from the beginning of the week up to the end of the week, I want to say thank you so much, because on Fridays, that is when we pause with discussions for the KOKOLIRIKO live show that comes your ways every Mondays to Fridays, right from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And today I want to certainly say thank you, and thank you again for being part of the discussions as we celebrate this day. Let's remember those teachers who made us become who we are. It may not be necessary that you give them money, but as the colleague said earlier on, a call is enough. Visiting them is actually very much enough, so that they also really remember and also know that indeed their works are not going unnoticed. With that, we come to the end of the discussions. Have a good day.